Reef DVM's coming at you with apple time. I know you've seen the press before, but here it is again. Just thought I'd make another fun video of pressing apples. Pressing apples is an easy thing to do. You can do it, but the old-fashioned method with cutting them up yourself and putting them in, and crushing them with like a hand potato masher. You can buy one of these simple machines that just does the pressing for you on Amazon. Or you can go down to, Kansas and pick one up or have one shipped out to you from a company that makes real wooden presses like this. But again, I wanted to show you how our process is and how easy it works for us. I do put a kind of cloth bag inside it. I just kind of keep some of the apple mush around it off. And on my gears at the front, I just put a towel around them and I clip it on, and not to protect the gears. What I'm trying to do is keep the grinder, which is going to grind up all the apples, from kicking out some of the bits and pieces out onto the floor out in front. So I kind of just stick this over the front of the bucket there. Again, I've got the cloth on the inside, just kind of push it in there. And then when I grind the apples, it'll make sure it all goes into the press. I like this particular machine. Got to get just a pan underneath to catch the apple juice. You can use a roaster, you can use a bucket, whatever works for you. I'll open up the roaster in a bit, but I'm going to wait till I'm ready to actually press. Step on the pedal. I did have a foot pedal on this one. There's another video out on it I have if you want to see that. But put them into the grinder and it just chews up the apples. I like ripe apples, and I like to use apples from multiple trees. I like to blend it. I think it gives you a better flavor. I'm not always worried about the condition of the apples as long as they're not black and full of mold. If the apple looks a little damaged, like this year we had hail on them and they got a little beaten up, no big deal. If it's got a leaf or a stem on it, I'm not going to worry about picking it off. I get most of them off when we pick the apples, but there might be a little piece of a stem or something that still goes through the grinder. It isn't going to end up in the juice anyways, and since I cooked the juice, I'm not too worried about it. Once I get the grinding done, I just kind of slide the tray over. And then, typically I don't have it quite this full, but, I wanted to just, fill it up this time for the sake of the video. And I pull up the edges of the kind of like cloth. It's not a cheesecloth. It's a special bag that you can get from, Harvest Valley or anybody you want that sells apple presses. And I just make sure I cover up the apples. Again, then I get less on the pressing board that's going down and less squeezes out that gets into the juice. Make sure it's not hooked on the edges at all. You certainly don't want it on the edges because, if you do, it'll tear as it goes past the little wood slats there. And then, basically, I start cranking it down. Process is pretty simple. I go till there's quite a bit of hand pressure. Now, some people use a rod. I use a piece of PVC. But you got to be careful. You don't want to break your tool. The metal in this device is not going to break, but you could crack your wood. Once you start squeezing, probably about halfway down, out comes the juice. Folks, I really like to turn this into cider. And I'm not talking the alcoholic version. I like to just make an apple cider out of it with a little bit of cinnamon and some allspice. And then depending upon the apples, I might even have to put some sugar in it. It's just delicious. It's a good way to use the apples. And then after this, we'll take out the remainder of the material that's in the bucket and we'll feed it to our beef. They like it. Nothing gets wasted. It's a good way to make apples in the fall, folks. Turn them into juice. We take it after we've kind of cooked it and made it to the flavor we want, and we hot water bath can it. And that's it, folks. It's that simple. We now have good old apple cider in a juice form that we can store away for the winter months and enjoy hot or cold. Thank you for watching, folks. We appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. We'll keep putting out great videos like this.